Andy Frank here at the Staircase Cafe, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful place in Hamilton with winding staircases. You know, try to describe a winding staircase without using your hands. That's always a challenge. And we just finished a lovely recording session with Jacob Moon up on the roof. And the reason we did that is because of the recent phenomena of Jacob Moon and Rush and Songwriters Hall of Fame and all that other kind of great stuff. So first of all, it's great to hang out with you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for coming to Hamilton and hanging out with me for the afternoon.
Beautiful day.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about that as a starting point. There's so much more to your story, of course. You've been doing this singer-songwriter touring, DIY musician thing for quite a while now. And I do want to get on all that. But I saw you at the press conference announcing that Rush and Robert Charlebois had been inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and you put on a magnificent performance, which I didn't realize at the time was basically a duplication of something you did upstairs here on the rooftop of Staircase Cafe.
That's right. Back in January of 2009, we released the video that we shot in the fall of 2008. It was about an hour and a half of setup, and then we did 3 takes, and we were done. Our light was gone, basically.
Right? Yes, so, the sun was setting.
Yeah, you see the sun setting. Yeah. And we shot with basically just 3 cameras, a couple of nice cameras and a crappy webcam, So it was fun to do, and it was fun to take that song, which is so evocative. Subdivisions, which is a great Rush song, and it's so evocative of what it's like to grow up in the suburbs, which I experienced in Kitchener-Waterloo growing up.
So you can see that video right beneath us here on this entry here at Roots Music Canada. We're going to embed the video from YouTube. How did Rush come across it?
Well, they heard it. I think I spoke to Neil last week, and he said that a friend of his, a non-musician friend of his, sent him the link and said, "You got to check this out." And so he circulated it through the management offices over at Anthem, and all the guys saw it and really loved it. And I don't think they knew at that time that they were going to be inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. I certainly didn't. And I got a call somewhere around December of this past year from Anthem saying, "Hey, would you come and play your rendition of Subdivisions? They're being inducted in the Hall of Fame." I'm like, let me think about it for a moment.
You must have been pinching yourself.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Seriously.
It was ridiculous. I mean, you never get those kind of calls. I mean, the calls are always from the collection agency or from people needing money, know. But they actually called and had some good news. So I was so happy to take the call. It was great,
And so you performed it there, and then, of course, you performed it just a couple of weeks ago at the gala, the big heavy-priced ticketed event at the Toronto Centre for the Arts. And we'll mention that again in a second as well. And you performed it. Rush didn't perform, but you performed it now in front of his peers galore, people like Robert Charlebois and others who were also being inducted. What was that experience like? Must have been intimidating.
It was really intimidating, actually, But I mean, I was able to just stand there. I knew Rush was off to my left. I didn't look at them. The host was talking, and there was a video showing, and I just kind of took that moment to breathe and just say, okay, this is what I've been asked to come and do. There's nobody else that they could have called to come and do this particular rendition. I'm here for a reason. Excellent. I need to just own it and do it.
So the natural segue there is the Toronto Centre for the Arts. For those who don't know it, it's just north of the 401 where Jersey Boys is playing or was playing. I assume it's still playing. You're playing on April 10th.
It's kind of the CD release party, if you will, for the new record, Maybe Sunshine.
And it's your 7th release. Since 1998?
Since 1998,
That's good. And we're going to hear a couple of songs from that you just performed upstairs. And it's a great introduction to people who don't know you as the singer-songwriter, who might know you as this YouTube guy. You're extremely talented with the guitar, looping, wall of sound. You are a deft touch with songwriting and ballads and so on. You have, I think you even described yourself as a singer-songwriter who happens to be Christian, so you have that element in working for you as well. How does that Christian aspect work for you? Does it work against you? Do you find yourself sometimes having to break through a paradigm of I am this guy, or I'm not this guy, or do you find that it opens doors for you that might not have been open for you, or might not be open to the another singer-songwriter who?
It has opened. I have to say. I mean, like, I know other musicians who are, I consider them more talented than I am, but I feel like the Christian audience that I'm able to address has given me a bit of a advantage over some of these artists who can only play the horseshoe or the traditional clubs, right? There's a club circuit that's out there, and it's not terribly lucrative because sometimes you get in there and you play and you kill, you have a great show, and nobody buys any records because they're all saving their money for beer, right? And so this is what you find, and so you think, well, where could you go where that wouldn't be the case? We could play soft cedars, right? And that's I've certainly tried to do that. Play community events that are neutral and don't have a Christian undertone and don't have a heavily, bar sort of type of atmosphere. And but churches can work that way too. Some churches are blank enough slates that it's not super intimidating for somebody who doesn't go to church and just wants to come and hear a concert. It's convenient. There's a parking lot. There's a place to sit. There's a stage. There's lighting. There's sound. It's great. I don't know. I think that's a great way to go. And I just happen to have a story to tell that audience. And there's sort of kind of a shorthand that is at work there as well. I try not to lean on that though. I try to really tell a story that's universal and broad enough to include, without getting into jargon or kind of inside baseball with Christians. I try to kind of make it so that it's a little more, everybody can come. You know what I mean? That's my dream anyways. That's the kind of concert I'd want to go to.
Right. In your past, you've been nominated for a number of Hamilton Music Awards. I think one year you had 5. Tell me a little bit about, you mentioned some of the names that are associated with the city, Doucette and Melissa McClellan and Wilson. Tell me a little bit about the scene here.
Well, the scene here, I discovered it when I came here in 1995. I went to a jam night at La Luna, and I met basically the whole music scene at that time. People like Mike Daly, Rob Lamoth, Jamie Oakes, Steve Strongman, all these guys who were really heavy into the scene here. And through the years, people have been added to that crew, and new voices like Melissa McClelland. There's always just so much support for what each other is doing. There's a lot. It's a real camaraderie here. There's not as much a cutthroat kind of competition vibe. It's more, I don't know, there's something organic and kind of, we all kind of know we're in this together. You know what I mean? Maybe there's something about living in Hamilton with all the pollution and whatever it is, right? There's something gritty about it, and there's something kind of loose and rootsy and soulful about music here.
Best of luck on this Saturday night?
Yeah, Saturday night.
Saturday night at the Toronto Centre for the Arts and way beyond.
Yeah, amen.
Pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Appreciate it.